Hi everyone, it's Melinda, and in this video we are going to talk about fear management. In this channel, in general, we talk and learn about things and topics that build you up and make you and your relationships healthier and make you feel, in general, more content. And I think that this is the perfect time to talk about fear management. I've been planning to make a video like this for a longer time, but obviously since the COVID-19 outbreak, our life has changed significantly, and I think this is just the perfect moment to have a look at how we manage our fears, which are undoubtedly there. First of all, let's just go through how we are going to tackle this. So, through my life experience, I faced fear more often than usually a person, which could be a bad thing, but because I'm so used to it, I actually figured out a method how to take that fear that's usually a very negative thing that you suffer from and turn it into something that is A, manageable, B, actually builds you up, and so this method helps you to make the best of it. And this is what I'm going to share with you. This method I named 3RP, and you are going to learn it in a second why. And this is something that's really hands-on, really easy to relate to, and in the description box below I am going to place a link where I sum up the major points of this video, so after this video after this video and during the coming days, you can keep going back there and follow the steps that will really help you to feel a great deal better, hopefully. Okay, so let's get started. First things first, we have to understand what fear is. Now, I'm not a psychologist or a neuroscientist. My background is in healthcare and in international business and communication. So let's say with that in mind, I came up with my own definition. So fear is when it's an emotion, and it's when you feel threatened and in danger. And obviously in this situation, during the outbreak, we all feel threatened to a certain extent and in danger. You might be endangered because you are in the elderly generation who are directly threatened by the virus, and you might just be at home alone and basically threatened by the fear that you can't do anything and it's going on out there. So what can we do about this? How can we make this whole horrible feeling, this emotion, digestible? And this is where the 4 points that I basically identified kick in. So let's start with the first one. That is nothing else than rationalize. We have to rationalize our fear. First of all, we gave it a definition. We did that already. And it might sound really dumb, but it just really helps. Just to give it a definition, we all know that fear is an emotion and it just feels, bad and negative. But just to have a definition that is already going to help your brain to cope. Because with rationalizing, what are we doing exactly? Rationalizing means that you are going to take a topic, a complex thing, and you are an emotion, and then you are going to look into which thoughts are in there, which emotions make up this hot mess, and how could I make sense of it. So rationalizing is nothing else than making sense of something. What our brain is doing when we are really threatened is basically going into overdrive. We are hardwired to solve problems and find solutions, and when we find ourselves in a situation that we cannot solve, our brain doesn't like that. Obviously we feel more threatened than ever because okay, something is going on, I wanna make something of it, I want to solve it, but I cannot, and our brain might get stuck into this vicious circle. And what it does, it creates enormous stress, and when stress comes, few things happen to your body. For example, your immunity is going to go belly up, and you are also going to evoke more and more negative emotions in you usually. So it starts with one thing and then it goes down in a negative spiral very quickly. So but with our first step, rationalizing, we are going to help our brain to get out from this overdrive, like, I want to do something and I cannot, and oh, but this is bad, oh, this is, gosh, even worse, so we're going to stop this. we are not going to promise ourselves to feel fantastic about this video or to feel fantastic about trying to tackle this problem at first, but we are going to promise to take a step back and try to rationalize. So let this be the goal the first time when you look into your fears, to manage them. Just to say, okay, my goal is to manage my fears. The first step is to rationalize them. I am going to give you an example in a second, but let's just go through the points. The first was to rationalize them. And now we understand why we need to do that, to make it digestible, basically. The second step is basically to react. So I have something in digestible smaller bits, and now it is up to me how I am going to react to it. Am I going to continue panicking, or am I going to do something about it? And then this is where we are going to look at, okay, so what can I do about it? Can I solve the direct problem that I'm having, or am I able to maybe do something else? So if that problem is not something I can solve, obviously, for example, I am from my garden here standing not going to solve the corona issue. I'm not going to be able to wipe it off this planet, but I can take this energy and put it into something else, like giving priority to preparing this video and hoping to connect to you and hoping to make you feel better, basically through my knowledge, because this is what I can offer in the moment, and it is not going to solve the direct problem, but indirectly it's going to continue to a solution, or for at least to something that makes you feel better. So we are a tiny step closer, and that is enough for my brain to be a bit more quiet and cope better. I'm going to give you a more precise example just in a second, but have a look at our third point. So we rationalized our fear. Then we've chosen a reaction. And then the third thing is to recycle. So it's basically something I already mentioned. If I decide to react, this fear, basically, you can also look at it as a bunch of energy, which it is. So your body is going to eat through, I don't know how much ATP, everything is in overdrive, in stress, adrenaline is high, and you might get stuck in this for, weeks to come. That's not good. But this energy is definitely there. So instead of me trying to say, just calm down, just have a seat and wait it out and everything's gonna be fine, this is not going to help, at least not for me. Might work for someone, but I'm saying that, okay, so we rationalize it, and then we are going to react, and then we are going to take this energy and recycle. So the negative energy of fear is going to be recycled and put into something that's much better, something that is positive. Okay, so beyond our reaction, we are going to take care of this energy to not only react in a way that we feel contributes to solving the problem, but it is also going to help to open new doors. And this is a cliche, but it really works like this. If you have a big bunch of negative feelings, it's your life, it's your decision, and you can totally go for to actually transform that negative energy and turn it into something useful. And I'm not talking about lollipops and rainbows and unicorns, immediately, especially if you're really, really afraid sitting at home alone, or you've lost your job and you are in a major crisis financially, or the worst scenario, obviously, if you've lost someone. I'm not going to say that you can just turn it around like this, but you have to believe and understand that there is a way that you can put that energy into something that is going to build you up in the end. And this is the fourth step, and this is what I call proactive. So this is how the 3RP comes together: rationalize, react, recycle, and be proactive. And now I'm going to give you my example. And my example is going to be here in front of the camera, my biggest fear. I will give you a little bit of context, and then we are going to go through the 4 points together. So I'm living in the Netherlands currently, and with my 2 boys and my husband, and we just decided that we are going to partially move back where my parents live in another country, in Budapest, Hungary. And we were ready, basically. So the first boxes were packed, and I was really looking forward to being close to my parents, with whom I have a really dear relationship, and we just love to be together. And I really wanted them to see my children grow basically every day. We bought an apartment really close to them, and that is the plan. The plan is going to be delayed. And my fear is fearing of the worst. And you have to know that I'm a queen of fear. So it's just a lifestyle that I happened to take on, that I'm afraid of something all the time, hence the quite nice system of how to deal with. So my fear is that I will lose my parents in the coronavirus, or that they are going to die because they have some basic sicknesses, like, you know, high blood pressure and some things that elderly often do have, and no ambulance will go to them because they are all busy. And the third fear in this big group of fears, or this big monster fear, is that they won't see my sons growing up like I wanted to. I have a tiny boy, especially you know, between 1 and 2 years of age, and they develop so fast, and they are not going to be part of that. Usually we spend a month together here in the Netherlands, and then a bit of break, and then a month there together in Budapest. My parents were flying all the time, so we don't have all that. And my fear is that it's gonna go horribly wrong, and I don't have enough time to be together with them and share what's the most precious to me, is that, you know, my children are alive together. Now, you might notice that I am not too sad when I'm talking about it, and to be fair, it's because it's already my second take, so the first didn't go that well. Now that you understand what my fear is, how do I approach it? And it really works. So I tried it out on myself when I composed this video for you guys. First of all, rationalize. So what am I afraid of? Now, I already gave you this basically because obviously I just felt really, really horrible, and then I was asking, okay, so what is this fear exactly? It's the fear of loss and the fear of missed opportunities, you know, and the fear of losing the ones I love. Now, here I found a very nice article actually that I could relate to, and that says, okay, in this situation you feel grief. And let me just have a look who wrote this. David Kassler, who's world expert on grief, gave an interview to the Harvard Business Review, and he was talking about grief, and that the horrible feeling that that we all have around the world now is is grief. And grief is basically that there can be different types of griefs. So first, he said that it's the life that was before Corona, that it's never going to be the same again, and that's really threatening. Like, everything we've ever known as it was is going to change in a way. The second type of grief we fear, he said, is the loss that might happen, right? This is right up to my alley, because this is exactly what I'm afraid of, the loss that might happen. And the third thing is that the loss that has already happened. So many of us, especially who are highly sensitive, really resonate with that many people are dying in the world at this moment, and that can be really, really taxing. So I am now analyzing what is this fear of mine made of. Now I understand that is partially grief. And the second thing that I'm going to think of, okay, I know that this is partially grief. I know that I'm afraid of things that might happen in the future. So those are category that I can do about something maybe, and then part of it is something that has already happened, like if people already died or the situation is already presented itself, that Corona is there, that I cannot change. So I'll have to make basically a list. Okay, this is what I have to accept as it is, and there is no way I can do anything about it. I'm not going to ask you or myself to just forget about it, but for our own sake, we say, okay, we put it apart, we don't make it disappear, we don't want to do anything with it, we just let it hang here. And we're gonna focus on the can-dos. So can-dos here, acknowledged, And the can-dos are the following. Okay, I'm afraid to lose my parents, so what are the actions that I can take? I can ask them to please don't go out. Happily, they are willing to do that for me. Then secondly, I can organize their supply. So friends and family are bringing them groceries, so I can be calm about that they do their best not to catch the virus, and that they are going to be well fed in the meantime and supplied with everything that they need. And approximately this is what I can do, you know. So from here, I cannot do anything else. And I still feel like I have this enormous amount of energy there. I'm trying to not focus, for example, on how many people are dying, because it's just too much to take in for once. So I deliberately prioritize and shift my focus to one part of my problem that I can be hands-on with. So I solve the practical issues around it as much as I could, and it is basically by asking them to stay in and delegating. So I'm not doing something, but I ask others to help. I have this energy, so what is that I can do? And this is what I told you in the beginning of this video, making this video. So I'm turning this energy into something useful, and I'm saying, okay, I cannot help my parents, we cannot be together, but I can help you to cope with your fear better. And this is where I put my energy that's brought to me by this rush of adrenaline into. Now, the third one is that point exactly to recycle. So I took this energy and I transformed it into something better. And not only that, but I am going to take a forward-looking approach. Okay, so I have this situation, what else can I do? Because I will be sitting here. What does it mean practically? I will be sitting here with my family. What are the things that I can do to make this work for us? And this is, I think, an important point of any kind of crisis management, just to get practical. I have to say that my personality is not a very organized one. Let's say, basically not so organized, but I learned how to do it, and so everybody can, I think, learn it. And this is what we are going to do. Okay, I have this situation at my hand, tuck, 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 what are the things that I can do? And the fourth point is going to help us with that, is being proactive. So I'm saying, okay, I looked at what my fear is, I rationalized it, I reacted, I transformed that energy into something better, hopefully. And what else can I do? How can I prevent that this is going to spiral in tomorrow and the day after and the day after? And it will, but it's going to get to you a little less every single time if you keep up this practice that I'm just sharing it with you, the 3PR system. So I'm saying, okay, proactive, being proactive, what can it mean at this point? Or what are the fears that might be coming up? Because that's what our brain is also very good at. Remember, I mentioned this downward spiral. This is what's going to happen when you feel that you've dealt with one fear. The next tends to just hop into this place. So what we can do is we can make us feel like we tried to be proactive about it. So in a funny way, we can say that I kicked the ass of my fear, and not only that, but also the next ones. And it might sound funny, but it is like that. So I'm saying that, okay, I'm afraid of, and I go back to my own example, there is a slight possibility that we are going to be unemployed, which means that I am basically a startup, not earning any money, and my husband is working, and he would have started a new contract in 2 weeks, and they promised that it is still going to happen, but he hasn't signed yet. So that is going to really challenge me not to panic every single night, for example, when all is quiet and I have time to think. So I asked myself, what can I do about this? And this is a good one. So you can, again, just go back to the beginning of the circle. I say, this is my fear. I'm going to rationalize it. I'm going to make a financial forecast. How much are our expenses? How much are our savings? What can we do about it? How long can we go for without money? Then secondly, okay, what can I do? What kind of extra jobs could I take on? What's up on the market? And relatedly, I'm going to add a video here that was made by I Think Media. It's really fantastic about some online job opportunities. It's really something that's uplifting. I'm not associated with their channel. They are helping my business by providing their YouTube videos, but it's something that I really like, so I'll put it in the description box below as well as on my website. So you can look for, okay, what are the options? How can I generate income? What is the next step? So step 4 is all about the next step, guys, being proactive. And lastly, I'd like to add that even if you don't want to search for online jobs, and even if you're just happy to manage maybe your family, maybe you're at home with many children, or maybe you're a single parent and have to work and manage your children, it's really, there are so many challenging situations always, and especially now. But what you can try to do is to develop a skill. So look around on the market, just to go back to my own example, and see, okay, which are the skills, or what is that one skill that would really help me to either do better when this whole thing is over, or do better if we really are going to be unemployed. So learning is always your jolly joker. Learning something about yourself or a new skill is always going to give you satisfaction, and that's a go-to when you feel bad. And learning can also, you know, don't think about it. You have to have even the internet or a book for learning. You can also just start, you know, try to focus on one thing. I don't know, try learning how to make bread, or do gardening, or do drawing, whatever. Just put your focus into one direction, and it will help your brain. Actually, it goes back to the first point. What is fear? And that is an overdrive of trying to solve problems, basically because we feel threatened and endangered, and it goes like, oh. So we are going to basically just try to focus our energy to one thing. Now, these were the 4 steps, and I hope that it gave you first of all, just a feeling that you are not alone and that you can tackle it. And it's a big motorcycle. Let's just wait for that. I'm sorry, guys. And that it's going to really help you to tackle your own fears. Now, my plan is to make a second video about how to come up with a new structure about your day or about your life in a new situation like this. Let me know in the comments below if you are interested in that, just how to generate structure in this whole chaos. But for now, let's just cycle through one last time the 3RP, which is rationalize, react, recycle, and be proactive. I hope you can manage your fear this way better. And a new tradition I'm going to start is that after every video I'm going to recommend you a song. I am very big with music. It's my second big passion / profession a little bit. So I'm going to just always provide you with one YouTube link in the description box below, and you know, just go and discover. And it sounds like maybe it sounds a little bit silly that after such serious video I just put in a music link, but that's no problem. You know, let's just share what we can to make each other feel better. And it's true now, and it's actually always true. Why not? Guys, take care and see you next time. Bye.